You have to get started on your healing while you are living with your hurt.
Amen.
Okay, verse 22. That ye put off concerning the former conversation, the former lifestyle, your prior unsaved way of living, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Okay. Live with your hurt, but you cannot let that keep you from getting started on your healing.
Amen.
Do not think in your mind that I can't heal until I get over or get beyond or get rid of the hurt. I don't know that we can get that because I'm not dealing with the people on your list tonight. I'm dealing with your list. So you have to get started on the healing regardless of the hurt. Now sometimes that means we got to go inside and take out our trash. Because maturity means being able to live with the real while you work on the ideal. Because if you run away from the real, you'll never reach the ideal. Okay, watch. This is your counseling appointment. You don't even need to pay me extra for it. Because what I've discovered is that, we live in a society that we are on the fast track to pretty much come full circle back to the 1st century AD. You stop and think about it. I mean, it wasn't this way when I grew up, but the way it is today is we've pretty much come full circle to a very similar society to 1st century Roman society that Jesus came into at his first coming. I mean, very similar attitudes and ideas, very similar, tolerating the same things. Well, you know what? Okay. In Roman society, they had about 4 different types of marriage. And we've got about the exact same 4 different or so types of relationships among adults who have kids today. We do, right? You have people that simply had sex and now they got a kid from it. You got others who had sex, had a kid, and they're living together. And you've got others who are, and you go all the way up to what we would call a nuclear family. All right, well, that was one type of marriage in Roman society, but they had the other 3 types of relationships, some of which we would call common law type of marriages. We have the same thing going on today. We've pretty much come full circle to the same type of society. Maybe not quite as bad. I don't know that it will get quite as bad, but very similar. Now, so when Paul writes the epistles he writes to the Christians in Ephesus, in Corinth, and other places, he is counseling them. He is counseling people who are being raised and coming up in a society very similar to ours, all the same stuff, all the absent fathers, all the abused kids, all the sexually abused girls. Okay, same stuff right there. All the incarcerated people, all the drugs, all the junk we're dealing with, that is who he is writing to. So here's part of what he says in his counseling. For example, I think this is on your outline sheet. 1 Corinthians 13, beginning in verse 4. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. Now, what are those things? You say, well, Alan, they're the evidence of love. Okay, that's all right, but these are the things that give you peace in interpersonal relationships. These are the things that always make relationships significantly better over time. Now, everybody who's batting 1,000 on those things listed there, raise your hand, because I want to see who all the liars are in church. Just raise your hand. We all have to work on this. That's why it's written down in the Bible. That's why Paul let you in on his counseling session with some of the most dysfunctional people the world has ever seen. You may have to keep living with your hurt. Do not let that hold you back from starting to heal. That's why you need to be here tomorrow morning. Because you'll never have successful relationships that are growing until you apply Bible principles about forgiveness.
That's right. Amen.
So then on the other hand, this is letter B. Take your time, but make progress in the right direction. Back in Ephesians 4, verse 24. And that ye put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness, wherefore putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we're members one of another. Be angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. Do not give the devil a license to park on your lawn. So when he shows up in your mind or in your life, you've got to run him off. You know, we have issues. Can I tell you why we have issues? Here's why you have issues. Because about 90% of the stuff that comes in your mind, you think comes from you. And you think it as if it's yours. And about 90% of the stuff that comes in your mind comes from the devil. And you don't send it back to him. I don't understand. That's why you have issues.
Say it, Alan. Yeah.
I just gave you the answer. Because that's the way the devil works, the way he operates.
Amen.
He can't, you know what? There's limits. There's a lot of stuff he can't do. So what does he major on? Deceiving you. That is what he majors on.
That's what he does.
And so a lot of stuff that comes into our mind, we think, oh, I'm thinking this, and I'm feeling, and therefore since I'm thinking this, I'm feeling this, and this and this. Well, you know, when that thought first came in your mind, why didn't you take it captive? Again, Paul is counseling people that have major issues. And what does he say? Take every thought captive to Christ. And let him pass judgment. But if it doesn't belong to him and it belongs to the devil, send it back to hell where it came from. It's okay to say, to hell with the devil. That's okay. It's not cussing. If you tell the devil to go to hell, that's not cussing. Dave told me, and he's an apostle. So forgive.